Longhorn Nation, Sooner fans, welcome to episode 202 of the Bevo Podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas. I'm here with my man, Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, it's Thursday morning. I specifically requested of you last night to delay recording 12 hours because I still wasn't feeling it following the previous weekend. And I'll tell you what, dude, I'm not sure I feel it right now. Everything about Oklahoma football pisses me off right now. Every stupid comment that people make, every little bit of news. I haven't listened to hardly any talk radio. Those are my guys on KREF, but I don't care. I'm upset still. I'm mad. Brent Venables comes out with one of the dumbest comments in the world, saying how playing in the SEC isn't playing in the Big 12. And, you're not just going to beat everybody except for one team every year. And then the Big 12 claps back with you were 10-8 in the Big 12 when you were the coach. And I got to tell you, people defending BV and going after the Big 12, they're honest to God out of their minds. They're out of their minds. You're not allowed, when you lose to Texas, to start saying stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I use the word stuff. I think let's insert what everybody knows I really mean when I say stupid stuff.
It's a family podcast.
It's a family podcast. Feel free to let your kids listen in on the way to school or whatever. But you're not allowed to do that, dude. You're not allowed to get your ass kicked by Texas and then say dumb stuff about how hard the conference is and blah, blah, blah. And then when somebody claps back at you, expect your fan base and reporters even to be upset with the conference.
Yeah, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about Oklahoma as a whole, is what reporters were saying. That's what reporters and fans were saying in his defense.
I'm going to say they're stupid, Kevin.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you can't make that comment.
Don't make the comment, man. Listen, dude. Look, we are 5-1. Oklahoma is 5-1. I did not pick us to be 5-1. In fact, Kevin, I picked us to be 6-0. However, 5-1 through 6 games sounds okay. It sounds okay. You beat Michigan, you beat Auburn, you lost to Texas. You could lose to Texas any year. But the complete lack of offense production has me scared to death when I look at the remaining schedule.
Yeah, the schedule. I mean, I had you guys right at 5-1 at this point, winning the first 5, losing the game to Texas. And yeah, I mean, there's reason for concern there, right? When you see what Mateer did out there, you wonder, is it him being injured? I think he was healthy enough to throw the football with the same type of velocity that he's thrown it all year. He just wasn't mentally ready for the game.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't appear to be very prepared. And there's so much that goes on that field in the Cotton Bowl, right? All the momentum shifts. And also, never in his life has he played against guys like he saw on Saturday, right? He's never faced a Colin Simmons. Playing at Washington State, you just don't play against guys like that.
Nope.
That kind of defense, that kind of athleticism in the secondary, along with a good scheme that was tinkered around what you do great. So can you, and it's hard, right? Projecting forward for Oklahoma because the lack of a running game. And I'm sure with you as an OU fan, you're wondering, how can this running game improve? Can this running game improve?
I think we're asking ourselves the wrong question, right? Because I think to ask what's going to change with the running game is the answer is nothing. We're 6 games. We're entering week 7 or 8. I don't even know, but we're 6 games into the season. We are what we are, Kevin. And
I agree.
It's not. I saw somebody break down Ben Arbuckle's play calling. It's not for lack of trying. Through 6 games, He's called 211 pass plays and 210 running plays.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that
balance.
I don't know if that includes sacks or whatever, right?
Okay.
But
yeah,
that's close enough. Okay. And
well, it's tough too with the personnel that you have, right? You're playing 12 personnel and your tight ends can't block.
no, they can't block. They can't block. Jaron Kanak is a great story, and he can block in certain run fits. Okay. And we saw that against Michigan. Okay. He's an athletic kid, not afraid of contact, and he can hit a block in the right time. But you can't expect him, or apparently any of our tight ends, to line up and pass block.
No, or just a straight run block, trying to get guys to the edge.
It's just
no, it's not gonna.
They're not sealing that edge very well, and it's just not. And to expect that to change when you look at who you're going to play, i.e., South Carolina still has some very good edges. I think all of Oklahoma remembers that from last year. Now, they don't have all those guys.
They lost. Kyle Kennard's gone, but Dylan Stewart's the more talented player. And obviously he's still there.
And so we all know what happened there. We know that the offensive line is hobbled. We all love Fasusi, but he's a true freshman. He's getting beat up a little bit. He's inconsistent. He's either inconsistent because of injuries or inconsistent because he's a freshman, or both. That's fine. I'm not mad at the kid.
Real quick, and real quick on that. Yes, did he get beat a couple times by Colin Simmons? That does not change my outlook on Michael Fasusi at all. He's a future all SEC type performer and a likely first round draft pick in a couple of years.
But the problem is, Kevin, we can't run the ball. So the question instead is not how will our running game change? It's when will we stop going to the running game?
You just become a true air raid team.
Just go air raid.
Michael Leach style.
Look at the back. I've referenced this before. I'm going to reference it again until I see it again. Look at the back half of the Auburn game. We went away from trying to pound the ball against an Auburn defensive front and started going short passing patterns, use the short passing game as our run game, use air raid concepts. I mean, and Mateer was able to do it with a broken thumb, right? He went 16 of 17 to end the game, 11 for 11 to close the game out. Like, we marched down the field when we had to go score with 0 run plays, I think. It was crazy. Mateer might have ran the ball in, but that was it. My point being is we can't run the ball. Now, you want to start talking about why? Well, I think I've made it clear why on this podcast for the last 3 seasons. DeMarco Murray is absolutely killing me as a running backs coach. I don't understand the development. I don't understand the rotation. I don't understand any of it. I just don't get it. And then from a tight end perspective, it's just, I don't know how often you can say that I love Joe John Finley's great. But my God, what are we doing? And it's just frustrating, right? I don't know. So I look at the schedule, Kevin, and I go, holy crap. We should beat South Carolina. We're 5.5 point favorite. We'll pick the game. South Carolina's got plenty of crap going wrong. Here's the problem. South Carolina was 3-3 at this point last year. They rattled off 6 straight wins, starting with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's not like Shane Beamer doesn't know how to coach. They still have Lenora Sellers. So
yeah, it hasn't clicked for them yet either.
They're the only team that runs the ball worse than us.
Correct.
But they had 193 yards rushing against LSU last week. Do you think Oklahoma would have had 193 yards rushing against LSU last week? The answer is no, Kevin. No, they wouldn't.
No, not unless John Mateer goes nuts. And then right now, he's having to protect his hand. That's the problem. So I don't know if you can't run him 19 times.
No, I don't think you can. I agree with your assessment completely from Sunday night, which is, why was he ever in once the game became a 2-score possession game? Like, why did we allow him to suffer needless hits and dings and, whatever for an entire quarter when Everybody knows what we saw out there. We were not coming back.
Yeah, it was just difficult to move the ball. No big plays available. Then Texas was sitting down on the short crossers and stuff, coming up and tackling all the underneath stuff. Yeah, it just wasn't happening. Yeah, he took at least 5 or 6 unnecessary hits.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'd hit like 2 or 3 guys at a time.
And for what? Like,
correct. Why?
That's so. As far as him playing against Texas, you play him. I've said that. I don't question that.
Yeah.
Now,
if he was cleared to play him, that's fine.
I agree with you that he was cleared to play, but was he ready to play? I think that's a very legitimate question because so many missed opportunities in the passing game. The confidence wasn't there. The rhythm wasn't there. He was rushed and harried and felt out of sync. And so, do I still think he gave us a better chance than Michael Hawkins? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think so too. No, I completely agree with that.
But
if he was, it had to be him if he was.
I think so. But that doesn't mean he got the full complement of reps. And that doesn't mean that he was in a rhythm. And that doesn't mean he was an active participant in the game plan implementation over the previous 3 weeks. So all of that. And, when you don't have a run game, you can't turn around and hand the ball off.
And as good as Palmateer is, right? I like him, but, every game so far, he's thrown a couple of those kind of passes that kind of make you say, what was he seeing there? Right? We saw a couple against Auburn. We saw a couple against Michigan. And I don't think they really took advantage of it at all. And I think Texas did.
Well, we've seen those passes against every opponent.
Yeah, every week.
Every week. We saw it against Temple, where he's leading Keontez Lewis across the. You don't throw that ball there.
Exactly.
You don't throw that ball there, and it's
the first interception that he threw to Malik Muhammad. I mean, he's jumping. I know the rush is coming, but he's drifting back, and then he literally jumps and throws that pass.
Yeah,
and it's not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna work. It'll work. Little Elm High School. It could work against certain opponents, maybe against Temple, but you're not gonna do that against Texas or really any other team in the SEC.
No, and so listen. I'm down right now. I need OU to kind of convince me, because I'm not convinced. Convince me that they're really a 5-1, 6-1 team. Like, go into South Carolina and win by 10.
Now win by 10. For me, again, you feel how you feel, and I kind of feel like this against Texas. For Texas against Kentucky this week, I don't care how they win. I don't care how ugly it is. When it's on the road in the SEC, in those kind of environments, I don't care if they win by 1 point.
I hear you. I got you. I guess I need to see it though, Kevin, because this is the only should win on the schedule. I've said this already. It's the only should win on the schedule.
And you should win this game for sure.
We should win the game. South Carolina is the most penalized team in America. They have the fewest touchdowns in the SEC. They just fired their O-line coach. Lenore Sellers is not having the year he was supposed to have. They've got losses to Vanderbilt, Missouri, and LSU. I mean, this is a down team. So when I say go win by 10, it's look, I get it. And depending on how the game looks and what happens and this and that, I understand. I'm going to take
what you're saying is Oklahoma should be clearly a notch above South Carolina.
They should be a notch above. That's all. They should be a notch above based on their performance so far this year and yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing, man. Michigan, I don't know that Michigan was definitely not a national contending team. We talked about that then, and they've since proven that with 2 losses or with another loss to SC. I mean, they're fine, but they're not great. Auburn is winless in the SEC. So we know Auburn is not great.
Auburn's such a weird team, man. They're such a weird team.
And it was weird how we beat them.
It was.
Right? with the weird illegal, not illegal play and fumbles that maybe should have been called. And
Yeah, just a bizarre game all around.
it was a weird game. It had a weird feel. And so then you just go and don't put any points up against Texas. You're like, okay, well, I knew we weren't the fifth best team in the country or sixth or whatever. But I'm not sure how good we are yet. And that's what I want to see against South Carolina is just go win the game 27-17. But I don't know, man. That's where I'm at.
I understand. I've been kind of living there this whole season with Texas, right? And I'm still not sure what this team is with Texas.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, it was a great performance, and they broke a lot of tendencies in this game. Right. They were horrible on third down, one of the worst third down conversion teams in the country. Then they come out and they go 10 of 18 against the best third down defense in the country.
Yep.
Right. So they couldn't run the ball. They ran it well against, again, one of the best defenses in the country. But, how do they handle the success of this game? I talked to you a lot about Oklahoma 2 years ago, right? You guys beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl, massive win with Dylan Gabriel. And then clearly you guys didn't handle it well, right? You went and lost, or almost lost to Central Florida at home. Then you lose to Kansas on the road, and then lose to Oklahoma State. Yeah, with their backup quarterback. And I'm concerned about this Kentucky game. I really am. You look at, it's this Kentucky. They have good football players. I think they have a good scheme. They run the ball. They throw to the tight ends. They're active. They have a decent defensive line. So, yeah, I'm concerned about how Texas handles this. Can they get off the emotional high, right? When no one was really picking them to win this game against Oklahoma, they win it. Now they're they're feeling themselves. Are they going to be locked in and focused on beating Kentucky? Because, John, we still haven't won a road game yet, right? We've played some crazy environments, and we handled the Ohio State environment well. Florida, we were just never good, really, for the entire game. So I am concerned. We're a better football team, but I'm concerned.
Don't you think, though, that there's enough on tape for Texas for the coaches to keep that big head from coming? Because, as I've said before, it's not like that was a perfectly executed game by Texas. It was a really good game plan, and it was executed to win the game. But Arch throws for 166. You run for 155. I don't think anybody's sitting here thinking, my God, we've turned it all around. I think they're thinking, my God, if we do the right things, we can win the game.
I agree. And that's the thing, but you never know when you're talking about young people, the worst decision makers on the planet, right? So, how do they handle that? It has my attention. I'm not just chalking this game up as a easy win for Texas, an SEC game on the road at night.
Oh, it's a night game?
It is. Yeah, 6 p.m.
Huh. Oklahoma, for those that don't know, is 11:45 against South Carolina. It is,
which I think is really good for Oklahoma, by the way.
I think so. I think it's
Williams-Brice at night. I don't want any part of that.
I don't want any of that either. Beamer's a good coach. They are struggling. Like I said, they ran for 193 yards against LSU, so that's a little concerning. As if they've figured out how to engage the run game, so that could take some pressure off Lenora Sellers, because all the pressure's been on him all year.
It's the same with Mateer.
It's the same with Mateer. It really is. And, we've seen some good performances, but last week was so bad. And so you saw what happened. And again, I'm trying. People might hear this and think that I'm just being a negative. I am really in my brain trying to be positive. Like I really am, Kevin.
Yeah, you're hopeful, but, you have to go by what you see from a football standpoint.
It's kind of like what happened at Penn State, right? Is how long are we going to let this loss affect us?
Yeah.
Because it was a bad loss. Not just losing to Texas, which is bad enough. That's bad enough even when you play a great game. But you lose to Texas and you play like ass. Like that's bad. So how long does this loss linger? Are we able to shake it off? Are we able to find something? And I don't know. Speaking of, let's just hit the injury report real quick, and then we'll hit the injury report for Texas and talk a little bit more about the Texas-Kentucky game. That'll be our transition. Javonte Barnes is questionable as of the Wednesday report. Keontez Lewis, doubtful. Logan Howland, weirdly has been upgraded to doubtful. Cade McIntyre is doubtful. Troy Everett, Jacob Sexton, and Jake Taylor are all out. Derek Simmons is available. He is not on the list. And then
which
obviously
has to be that seems like a big deal there because when he got hurt, obviously the offensive line got worse, and it looked like the way he was limping around, it may have been a long-term deal. So for him not to be on the injury report has to be relieving.
Yeah, it is. We're going to need. We just talked about it with South Carolina with their ends and their defense. They're an SEC defense.
And
Just like
again,
all of
as good as Fasusi is, right? They're going to move Stewart around. He's not just going to be on Fasusi the whole game. Right? They're moving
yeah.
to both tackle. Right? So everybody's going to have to deal with him. So you want the best you got out there, even if your best isn't necessarily great. The best you got, you want him out there.
I just pray to the God of offensive game planning that Ben Arbuckle watched the tape last year. Because
seriously,
you were at that game. It was the worst. I mean, it's the worst offensive game plan Oklahoma might have ever had. Like, I'm not being facetious or funny. It was so bad.
Can't have.
We can't have Kanik or the other guy. I don't even know who he is.
Any of them
trying to block. Like, if you're going to block, they both. You need a double. You could double team them. I guess I'm okay with double teaming.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to think that they're going to try to handle the end is laughable, and it was terrible. There's so many instances against Texas where our tight ends are just completely pushed off the ball. Like, just
I mean, one hand. I mean, I saw the one where and it's a throw to the other side of the field, but Kanik went out and tried to block Anthony Hill. He just with one arm just flips him over.
Yeah.
And again, it's not. I'm not mad at. You should be mad at Jaron Kanik, right? Like he is who he is.
No, yeah. Jared Kanik, he'll go after Anthony Hill. Like, I don't doubt.
Yeah, he's not afraid, but he's just not physically capable.
Yeah, he would need to hit him on the correct side. All right, let's transition to Texas. We'll start with your injury report. The biggest of note, I think, is your starting center, right? Cole Hudson out.
Yeah, listed as out.
He played against Oklahoma and he never came out.
Yeah, he actually he made a pretty big block on that play where Trey Wisner broke loose. He got down the field and made a key block on that play. So I'm not sure. This just broke last night. We didn't know anything about it until the injury report came out. Sark hadn't mentioned it in his press conference, or the coaches do that teleconference with the media. At no point did he mention anything about Cole Hudson until this injury report came out. So the rumor is that he's in concussion protocol. Not sure if it happened late in the game or if it happened in practice on Tuesday. But either way, we'll see. Right? You never want to lose, like we just talked about with Oklahoma. Even if Cole Hudson hasn't been a great player, he's clearly the best option you got, or he wouldn't be playing. So we'll see. Connor Robertson has been a backup there. He's played a lot of football over the years, but obviously not at a super high level because he'd be starting. So we'll see. Again, another small concern about this game.
You mentioned Kentucky's defensive line being good. Good compared to, like, rank them in the SEC, I guess. What are they good? What are they good and what are they good at?
They're just really big. They're really big. So they got a couple of 300-pounders in there. It's a typical SEC defensive line. So they won't be easy to move in the running game. There's plays to be made, but it's going to require a focused and a good effort. You can't just show up with Texas on your jersey and think, oh, we've got 4 and 5 star players compared to their 2 and 3 star players. We're just going to win the game. That's not going to happen. This is a game you can lose if you don't show up and play well. So we'll need the similar type. Obviously, we're not going to get the same intensity you get in the Red River Shootout, but we need to bring it. You're going to have to bring it to win in the SEC on the road, especially at night. We'll need a good effort against Kentucky.
Your defense obviously looked really good last week. Can Kentucky do anything offensively against you guys?
If you can establish a running game, against Texas like Florida did. Now, they don't have Jaden Ball, but you know who their starting running back is?
Seth McGowan, right?
Yeah, Seth McGowan.
Former
Yeah,
OU 5-star, right? Yeah.
yeah, very talented guy out of the Dallas area. Obviously, ran into some legal trouble at Oklahoma. Has bounced around, right? JUCO, I believe either New Mexico or New Mexico State, and now is at Kentucky. He's running for 5.5 yards a carry so far this season. I mean, that's better than any running back from either of our teams
Yeah. Oh,
has
yeah.
run for this season. So yeah, we'll have to. Of course, it always starts with stopping the run, and they've got like three good tight ends that they throw to, and they get the ball downfield, and they've made plays against Georgia. They held Ole Miss. They lost by a score against Ole Miss at home. So, like I said, and the Georgia game was very competitive, really through the third quarter, and they were on the road in Athens. So, you look at the record, you look at the name, Kentucky. Easy to say this should be a walk in the park, but I assure you it won't be.
What was the? I got to tell you, I'm drawing a blank. What was the Kentucky game like last year? Did y'all just handle it? And
No, it was an ugly game, John. We had a few. I think we had 2 or 3 fumbles in the game. I think Jaden Blue had one. I think they had a strip sack on Quinn. So we won the game, and we were never in threat of losing it, but it was always like to where they were one play away from being in it. I think it ended up being 31-14, but it was not a pretty game at all.
Speaking of your running backs, you just mentioned some fumbles and stuff like that. Jarrett Gibson off the team. He decided to
Yes,
call
yeah,
it. Is that his decision?
that's his decision. Yeah, we like Jared Gibson, but he never really was able to establish himself because he put the ball on the ground a lot. He's fumbled in games, and from what I heard, he keeps fumbling in practice. And I think what really drove him out is when the kid is from Gainesville, Florida, and we played on the road in his hometown, and he didn't get a carry. So yeah, and I understand why the game. It was a weird game, right? I can't believe I'm hearing, by the way, that Billy Napier could be on his way out this weekend. It seems a
That's
lot
the
of smoke
rumor.
there. You see that?
That's the rumor. Yep.
It's like, well, we tried, man. We tried to help you, Coach Napier. We tried to
Yeah. Yeah. You
get
did
your contract extension,
Texans did everything they could. Absolutely.
everything we could to keep you employed. But so man, yeah, we're gonna look back at that Florida loss as sheesh, man. That one that we lost that we shouldn't have, and it's probably gonna hurt us as the season progresses. But it's just completely eliminated our margin of error. Anyway, all I have to say with Jared Gibson, he fumbled a lot in practice, and he's played in 4 games, so he wants to preserve his red shirt and hit the portal and go somewhere else. I understand it; it sucks because I think he's a talented player. So we'll see where he ends up.
Um, Florida hosts Mississippi State, by the way. They don't lose to Mississippi State, do they?
I mean, it could happen. Mississippi State is a good football. I think they're a good football team. We got to go there next, by the way.
They are a 9.5. Florida is a 9.5 point favorite, Mississippi State. So I think it's pretty clear if he does lose, the rumors will be confirmed, right?
Yeah. And hey, listen, if he does get fired, man, that roster, they got some dudes over there, man. So Sark and everybody else in America is going to be after Dallas Wilson. And they got
They will
another
be
guy,
poaching.
Vernell Brown, another freshman. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got 2
You
receivers
got to
I'd
be on
take.
it.
Correct. They got 2 receivers I'd want. And of course, Jaden Ball, the running back. Man.
When you think about the Penn State opening, Kurt Signetti makes a lot of sense. Matt Rule, I've heard Matt Rule's name, played at Penn State. That makes a lot of sense.
I think he's a favorite, right? I think he's a betting favorite.
Yeah. But if you make a change at Florida, those guys, both Signetti and Rule, seem like Big Ten guys.
They really do. They seem like
in mannerisms and just everything. So I don't know where Florida turns to. It doesn't seem to be as natural a replacement as maybe what you're going to see at Penn State.
I agree. And the thing with Matt, I like Matt Rule. I think he's a great coach. But are we sure he's better than James Franklin?
Well, did Penn State ever win a conference championship?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah. I don't know if he's better, but I bet he's about the same.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
yeah,
worse. I don't
yeah.
think he's
Neither do I.
worse.
Yeah,
And,
but
and he's
they seem like the same guy to me
uh,
as far as what their upside and stuff is as a coach.
you think that the ceiling's the same?
I do.
Well,
I mean, now
I
look, he played there, so I get it. I get it. It's not. I don't think it's a downgrade or anything, but I just don't know if bringing in Matt Rules in it. Are you going to beat Ohio State?
you'd rather have Signetti.
I think so.
Yeah,
But I
I
mean,
think so too.
I
I think
understand why they fired James Franklin. I get it. I get it, but
well, I
I
think
don't
a
know.
little bit of his. I think he's just kind of a dick. So that's probably
Yeah, I mean,
that probably didn't help.
yeah, yeah.
That's the
It helps when
problem.
they like you. They'll
That's the
fire you
problem
either
with
way, but it helps when they like you.
well, the problem with Brent Venables, if you're an OU fan that thinks maybe a change, depending on how the season ends up, is everybody likes Brent Venables.
Correct.
So it's
Yeah,
really hard to
you like
like.
Charlie Strong. Loved him. Great guy. Awesome guy.
Um, I don't know. Should BB's seat be warm if they lose to South Carolina?
I think it'll start to warm up a little bit. Depends
I
on
think
how
it
it
needs.
looks. It really depends on how it looks. That's what I think.
Well, it looked like crap against Texas. So
Didn't look good. Yeah.
okay, let's take before we break down the rest of the college football world. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. Title sponsor Brown O'Haver, public insurance adjusters for the insured, not the insurance company. Been around in Moore, Oklahoma since 2006. We're coming up on almost 20 years of serving central Oklahoma, but really the whole state. If you've had a loss in Tulsa or Broken Bow or Ardmore or Guyman, you want to call Brad O'Haver, 405-735-5510. Work for you, not the insurance company, to get you more money for your insurance claim, 30 to 40% more typically than you get on your own. If you've had a loss to your home or your business, call Brad O'Haver, 405-735-5510.
John, we're letting the people of Oklahoma know that if you think you may have had some damage to your roof from a recent hailstorm, give Pioneer Roofing a call. They'll go out and give you a free inspection, let you know if you need to file an insurance claim, or if you don't, give them a call, 405-549-2712, Pioneer Roofing.
Um, Kevin, let's take a look at the forecast here real quick for everybody that's out there. We had 10-day weather forecast. See if we got any of that weather coming. And I don't see any of it. A little showers maybe on the 28th. Storm to
Yeah,
survive some
it's
company.
been
But
interesting weather. It's been unseasonably warm, right?
my pond needs some rain to survive as a pond. Because right now I have like a little bitty puddle.
Yeah, it's been some interesting
So
weather.
all that rain we got this spring
It's drying
has
up. We need some
evaporated.
more.
Speaking of things that are interesting, this week is really pretty good for some college football. You have two good games Friday night. Louisville at Miami. Miami is a 13.5-point favorite. Nebraska at Minnesota. Speaking of Matt Rule, Minnesota's is a 8.5-point home dog. Back to Miami real
Real
quick.
quick. Okay, yeah.
They've
Go
been
ahead.
quiet. They've been yeah, back to Miami. They've been quiet the last couple of weeks because of they haven't really had the big time games on their schedule. I still think there's a chance that they're the best team in the country.
Yeah, they look really good, right? Close game against Notre Dame. It's a good football team, but yeah, ever since then, yeah, they've been comfortable. Even at Florida State when 28-22, but I mean, they were
It
dominating
was never
that
that.
game.
It was never that
Yeah,
close. Yeah, yeah.
correct. So yeah, they look great. I mean, you could mark this down as a potential trap team, but Louisville being 4-1, I think they're going to have Miami's full attention, and with it being at home too. So yeah, Miami's looking really good. Schedule sets up. I mean, I guess we'll be paying attention to. They go to SMU here in a few weeks, but um, other than that,
How's this?
the
How is
schedule
SMU
really sets
doing?
up.
SMU is not in the top 25, so they've kind of been out of sight,
Yeah,
out of
they're
mind.
4-2 so far this season. Losses to Baylor by a field goal, and then they lost to TCU. They lost that one pretty good, 35-24. So
Okay. Um, Here's a game. Hey, right out of the bat on Saturdays, a game we might pick. So we're going to pick the OU game and the Texas game, obviously. Then we usually pick three more. I've got five. We're going to have to whittle down five from three, in my opinion, on games we're going to pick. And right off the bat, one of them's LSU at Vanderbilt. LSU is higher ranked. And this is really surprising because even though that's the case, Vanderbilt is a 2.5 point favorite at home against LSU. I can't remember the last time LSU was a favorite. I mean, Vandy was a favorite against LSU. I don't know my history that well, but I imagine it's been a really, really,
I'm
really
sure,
long time.
yeah, it's
If,
very
if
rare.
ever, if ever.
Correct. Yeah, and I mean, a favorite against a top 10 team, that's a big deal. Vegas is usually on to something with their point spreads. So yeah, this was really interesting. Diego Pavia going up against that LSU defense, which has been really good so far this season. But it's the LSU offense that has left us kind of wondering what's going on there, and they haven't really had a breakout game yet. So it just makes you wonder, like you said, at this point, is this just who they are? 17 against Clemson, 23 against Louisiana Tech, 20 against Florida, 19 against Ole Miss, 20 against South Carolina.
Yep.
So and it doesn't get any easier for LSU. So they need this game, John. At Vanderbilt, they play A&M next week. Then they go to Alabama after that. So
Is
uh,
LSU is LSU 5-1 right now? Is that
they're
right?
5-1. That's right. They
They're
lost a
lost to
game
Ole
to Ole
Miss.
Miss,
Okay.
24-19 to Ole Miss. But yeah, so they need this game if they want to contend for the SEC. Because like I said, A&M at home next weekend, and then they go to Tuscaloosa, play against Alabama, who's been looking really good lately. So
Look,
no
this
margin
will
of
be on.
error for them.
This will be on at the same time as the OU game. Be ready to have your multi-view engaged. Georgia Tech is at Duke. Duke is a 1.5 point favorite. Another one of these where the lower ranked team, I don't even think Duke is ranked
Duke
necessarily.
is not ranked at all. Yeah.
So an unranked team against a ranked team in conference, 1.5 point favorite at home. Georgia Tech is just plugged along all year. You know, they've had some good wins, and they're a seems like a pretty good coach team. We both like the Georgia Tech coach.
Yeah, they're undefeated. They're undefeated. I mean, their biggest one is against Clemson, who obviously has proven to not be a great team this year. But hey, undefeated is undefeated this far in the season. So they beat Colorado, Gardner Webb, Clemson, Temple, Wake Forest on the road, Virginia Tech, and now they play at Duke. So
Any idea though why they're giving Duke an edge against an undefeated Georgia Tech team?
I don't. I don't. I mean, I don't. I haven't heard anything about a potential injury to anything. And it's interesting, ESPN has their kind of analytic matchup predictor, and 61.7% for Duke to win this football game.
Really? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
isn't it?
Yeah, I tell you what, if I'm picking a parlay out, that's not one of the ones on the list. I have
No,
it just
no, no.
seems
It's
odd.
interesting, right? Yeah.
Uh, Ohio State at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a 25.5 point home
It's not
dog.
working, man, for Luke Fickle. I mean, it's got to end this after this season, right?
I think so. They're not even close in they're not even close in any of these big games, whether it be Alabama or any of their big time matchups. They're turning into kind of a floor mat in the Big Ten, and that's not where Wisconsin should be. Wisconsin
No,
should
I
be
mean,
don't you think they should be a 9-3 team every year? Like
correct. Yeah.
that's what we grew up with
84 at
Wisconsin.
work. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, 38-14 Alabama, 27-10 to Maryland at home. At Michigan, 24-10, and then last week, which seems like rock bottom, 37-0 to Iowa. 37 points to Iowa team that can't really score. I mean, 37-0. My goodness.
Here's the
And
problem
listen,
for
here's their schedule real quick the rest of the way. Ohio State this weekend, at Oregon, home against Washington, at Indiana, home against Illinois. and then at Minnesota. They may not win a game the rest of the season.
They could beat Minnesota.
It could be. It's on the road though, and at that point, I mean,
here's the problem with like
just wait on the
Wisconsin.
season to end.
The problem with Wisconsin is how many jobs are about to be open, and who they're going to be competing with for a head coach, right? So you say, yeah, well, this is Luke Fickell's. Okay, but then who do you get? Because Penn State, at least in the Big Ten region, is going to be taking a pretty good head coach off the table that you might not have had a chance with anyway. But now the next school that they take him away from is competing, right? The Indiana or the Nebraska.
Nebraska,
they're going to compete. Then if Florida takes one, then somebody else is going to. It's a bad
Florida
spot to be in.
Goes straight to the top, right, of the available jobs.
You think you'd rather have? Yeah, you'd rather have Florida over Penn State, right?
Yeah, obviously it's tougher, in my opinion, in the SEC, but just the access of players that you'll have.
Yeah.
Compared to Penn State, there's good players in Western PA.
I guess you're living in Gainesville, but your suburbs are nice. Your winters
go to
nice.
Orlando. Yeah.
Okay. Where were we? Michigan State at Indiana. Indiana continuing to roll, 27.5-point favorite. A&M at Arkansas. Arkansas is a 7.5-point home dog. Any chance we can see a stumble from A&M? This would be a great place to get a stumble. I would like a stumble here.
It's a road game at night. Now A&M did kind of steal the game at Notre Dame, and that's the only road game they've had so far. Every other game has been at home for them. So we'll see. We'll know more about this A&M team at Arkansas. Taylor Green can do some things, right?
Yep.
He can also, throw 3 interceptions too. They go to LSU next week, and then they play at Missouri after that. So 3 straight road games for them.
Here is a game that we will definitely pick. It's game days here. Ole Miss at Georgia. Georgia 4-1. Ole Miss 5-0, or is it 6-0 and 5-1? Regardless, Georgia's got one loss.
6-0 for Ole Miss, 5-1 for Georgia.
Georgia 7.5-point home favorite. Ole Miss has been the Washington State game last weekend. Not having seen it, has to be a concern for Ole Miss fan when you barely beat Washington State. They are not a good program. Somehow they're still considered to be in the Pac-12, which I don't even know what that even means. Whatever.
The Pac-2 at this point.
I think they've added a couple.
Okay, teams. Yeah, they are bringing more teams in. Yeah,
but I don't even think that starts until next year. Whatever. It's very weird. Anyway, that was weird, right? 24-21, I think, against Washington State. I like the Chambliss kid. He gives them instant offense. I wonder if Austin Simmons is eyeing that portal yet. That's going to be interesting thing to keep an eye on. I think he'd be a good portal pickup, honestly.
I think he would too.
So anyway, that being said, it sounds like Vegas just really likes Georgia. I think they like their physicality. I think they like their defense. Georgia's been tested more than Ole Miss, if you can say that, even though Ole Miss has a win against LSU. I'm not asking you to pick it yet, but where are you leaning?
Man, this one's interesting, right? I'm curious to see how much can Ole Miss spread them out, and what kind of plays can they make in the passing game against Georgia. And then with Ole Miss defensively, can you hang in the trenches against Georgia? Can you slow up their running game that they're going to try to establish? I think that's what it comes down to Ole Miss, or how good are they on the line of scrimmage against Georgia? And it's hard, right? Most teams don't have success in the trenches against Georgia, as Texas last year, right?
Well, Oklahoma fan would love to see Georgia push Ole Miss around, I think we'd love.
Yeah, it'll give you some.
It would give us
some. Put something on tape. Okay.
Yeah, I think it would mean we had a chance against Ole Miss, and I think we do have a chance against Ole Miss. We'll see when we get there.
Yeah, they still got to come to Norman too. It's not gonna be easy.
Ole Miss, on the other hand, pushes Georgia around, and OU fans like, oh,
yeah,
I don't need that. So we'll see. Texas Tech at ASU. This should have been a much bigger matchup. ASU did not have Levitt at quarterback last Saturday. It looks like he is trending to play. I haven't seen
Yes,
an
he's
injury.
probable.
Probable? Is that what we got? Okay.
Yeah, per
Uh,
ESPN, he is listed as probable on the Big 12's availability report, which
even
is
with them
huge.
at probable, ASU is a 7.5 point home dog.
Yeah, and Tech looks good, man, and they're good on the in the trenches. That's the thing. With their portal pickups this year, they got their edge. David Bailey from Stanford, who Texas tried to get too, but man, we all know what Tech is doing with this with their NIL stuff, right?
Yeah,
And this guy has like 8.5 sacks already in 6 games.
it's incredible. That's just
It
incredible.
really is, yeah. So they're gonna have to deal with them, and they're running the ball well. Texas Tech, right? We've seen what they can do in their passing game with Baron Morton and with Will Hammond coming off the bench. But Cameron Dickey, their running back, ran for like 250 last week. So they're really rolling in the Big 12 so far this year, and I don't know, man. I like them
We're not picking
to
this game.
continue.
Would you pick up? Would you pick? We're not picking this game. Would you pick them to cover 7.5?
No, I would not. If Levitt isn't fully
Oh,
healthy, no, I
no,
would
no. I
not.
meant
Oh, well, no,
Tech.
I would
I
pick.
meant Tech.
Yeah, I would pick Tech to cover.
You'd pick Tech to cover the 7.5. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would too. ASU has been fine, right? They've been good. They're not a bad football team, I don't think.
no,
But without
and they've got
Scatabo,
dudes.
they're not what they were last year.
Yeah,
And you're seeing that in the NFL now. That guy,
yeah,
holy, he's so fun to
he's a
watch.
load, man.
It's just I don't know how long he can like physically
Yeah, how
hold
long
up.
he'll be able to? Well, how long of a career he's gonna be like? Remember Marion Barber for the Cowboys,
Yes, 100%. That's
who was
exactly.
just a monster for like 3 or 4 years, and
Yeah.
then that's
He,
it.
I think he might be lucky to get a second contract based on what he
Exactly,
does physically. But
exactly.
hey, whatever. He only knows one way to play. Memphis at UAB. Memphis 20.5 point favorite. Oregon at
UAB just
Rutgers.
fired their coach, by the way. Trent Dilfer was their head coach. They just fired him this week. So.
Um, he was cocky too. Remember?
He was.
He was a
Yeah.
little cocky. It's not
Yeah.
surprising that didn't work out. Um, Oregon at Rutgers. Oregon coming off a loss to Indiana should be fine on the road at Rutgers. But this is one of
Yeah.
those.
0-3 in the Big Ten.
I,
Rutgers.
I hear you. It's one of those. If you talk about NFL though, the travel east to play games kind of messes with teams a little bit. Now I think this is a later in the evening game,
Yeah,
so
thankfully it's not the 11 o'clock kickoff
it's
because
not
then
like
they'll
but
be
can you
all off.
imagine if it
Oh
was an
yeah,
11
we
a.m.
plan at
game? I think that line would be a little
7
different.
or 8:30. Yeah.
The aforementioned Washington State at Virginia. Virginia 17.5. All right, here's one we will most likely pick, but it might get cut, Kevin. I don't know. Tennessee at Alabama. Bama is a 7.5 point favorite. Ty Simpson is finding his groove. Ryan Williams is finding his groove. Tennessee, after a hot start, have they kind of come back to earth a little bit with Aguilar? I don't know. Bama 7.5 point favorite.
This was interesting. What I want to see is with Tennessee's offensive line, can they protect? Because Alabama really gets after you, right? They've got dudes out there. Can they protect long enough to get those downfield passes that Josh Heupel was going to call? And can they establish a run enough to set up the play action for those deep shots as well? So that, to me, that's what this game comes down to. Ty Simpson for Alabama has been really efficient, right? He's been making
Yeah,
plays, and
no, he really has. He absolutely has.
and I like the way they're calling it for him too. We all know what DeBoer can do as an offensive schemer and play caller. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes. But to me, it's going to come down to how the Tennessee offensive line plays.
This is one that OU fan is definitely keeping an eye on.
Yeah, you
Just
got
because
both.
we have both, and we have to go on the road to both. So these are two teams that are high on the risk scale of getting our butts beat by just on the road and how they've been playing. So it's just going to be interesting to see if one has a clear advantage and why, and is that an opening for OU or not? We'll see. Another one on the list. This is probably the last hurdle for Notre Dame, but they host USC. They are a 9.5-point favorite in South Bend. Look, I want SC to get beat. It just, if it means Notre Dame has to go to the playoff, fine, whatever. But I'm definitely rooting for Notre Dame. I don't think that's a big secret.
Oh, of course you are. Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. You said, kind of the last hurdle for Notre Dame. This is a huge game for both of these teams because really both of these teams are on track for the playoff. Now, USC does have to go to Nebraska as well. That's their next game after this. And they do have a trip to Eugene coming up towards the end of the year.
Okay.
But so it's a big game for them because they'll lose their margin for error as well.
Does SC avoid Ohio State this year?
They do. Yeah, no Ohio State this year. So they took care of Michigan. So yeah, this is a very, very big game for both of these teams. And like you said, though, for Notre Dame, their schedule the rest of the year
at
Boston
right?
College, Navy, at Pitt, Syracuse, and then at Stanford.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, if they can get past this, they're still in line for the college football playoff. They've been up and down on both sides of the ball, especially defensively. Notre Dame, they seem to be starting to peak and figure it out, but they'll be tested for sure with this USC offense.
Yeah, USC's been, I hate to say it, they've been rolling offensively. FAU at South Florida. South Florida's 21.5. Missouri at Auburn. Winless in the SEC. Auburn is a 1.5-point home dog. Does Hugh Freeze make it out of this weekend if Missouri runs all over Auburn?
Well, I'm sure patience is wearing thin there, and my thing is, I think Jackson Arnold's holding this team back. Now,
of course he's holding it back. Of course he's holding it back. What are we talking about?
Clearly, he's their best option.
That's a hot take, Kevin.
Clearly, he's their best option, right? They've got some freshmen. Why? Your job's on the line here. And you got a 5-star freshman, who must not be ready. Because sometimes you put the freshman in, it can give you some hope. Say, oh, look, we got this guy here. If we come back next year with this guy, everything's going to be okay. He's not even playing. He's just continue to roll with Jackson Arnold, even with everything being on the line. So, I don't know. Missouri looks good. They played well against Alabama. Alabama's just obviously much more talented than they are, and they have a great coach too with DeVore. So, I'm curious to see. Obviously, it's tough to go into Auburn and win. So, yeah, this is a very interesting one. I'll have my eye on this one.
So far, none of Oklahoma's transfers of last year have made us regret life.
Which is always nice, right?
Yeah,
Jackson Nick Arnold Anderson was going nuts for LSU.
Yeah, or even Bauer Sharp had figured something out.
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold. I mean, if Jackson Arnold if he'd have beaten A&M, if he'd have beaten A&M and, whoever else, you'd be like, especially after that Texas loss. But you're not sitting there. Nobody's sitting here wishing they had Jackson Arnold back.
No.
Now, some of our running backs, I don't know that anybody we lost last year. Gavin Sawchuk's just been okay at Florida State.
He's been okay, yeah.
Tawi Walker, just okay at Wisconsin. Nobody's really.
Where's he at? Did he go somewhere else?
Oh, did he transfer after Wisconsin?
I thought he did. I thought I saw him. Cincinnati is where he's at.
Oh, how's he doing at Cincinnati?
344 yards rushing, 5.4 yards a pop, though.
Well, that'd be nice. I'd have taken that.
Yeah. But he's 2 years out, so.
Another game on the list of games we might pick. Utah at BYU. BYU is undefeated. They are hosting Utah, yet they are a 3.5-point dog. The Holy War. It's not the greatest rivalry in the history of college football. That is reserved for the Red River Shootout. However, it's a It's up there. And the hate is intense. It's real. Dude, it's on religious lines. I mean, it is as carnal a hate as one can experience. And I'm fascinated that BYU, despite being undefeated, is an underdog.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It shows you what Vegas thinks about Utah and their physicality and their coaching as well. I know you got some kind of some family connections
I do.
to
Yep.
this rivalry on the BYU side of things. But yeah, this is always a fun game. It delivers. It's always an incredible atmosphere, and Provo's gonna be rocking, man. So again, um, I kind of wish this game was a little bit later so I could focus more of my attention on it because Texas will be playing at the
At
same
the same
time.
time.
So will the
Yep.
Auburn, Missouri, the USC, Notre Dame, and Tennessee, Alabama. So there's gonna be a lot of football on, but I'll definitely be paying attention.
Cincinnati at Oklahoma State, 21.5-point home dog there. Florida hosts Mississippi State. Florida's 9.5-point favorite. You think Mississippi State's pretty good. We'll see if Napier makes it out of the weekend. Okay. We're going to pick OU. We're going to pick Texas. Let's just go through a draft real quick. Here are your eligible choices. We know we're picking Ole Miss, Georgia, right? We know that.
Yeah.
We know, or do we know we're picking Tennessee, Bama?
Yeah, we gotta pick that one, man.
We have to. SEC.
Yeah.
Okay. So it only leaves one more. Only leaves one more, Kevin. Utah, BYU, USC, Notre Dame, LSU, Vandy.
Man, I'm gonna stick with the SEC, man. What are you
You want to
thinking?
stay in the SEC?
What are you thinking? No.
I kind of like the idea of the Holy War pick.
Okay, let's
Just
do it.
because,
Let's do it. It'll be fun.
but I do think LSU Vandy. I mean, I do think they merit consideration for sure. Like
Yeah.
I am not. I think that's a
Let,
great game.
let's. You got family connections there, so let's go with the Holy War.
All right, well, let's start there. BYU's 3.5-point dog. I'm taking BYU to cover.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Utah here. Kyle Whittingham and his coaching experience. I think their running game will get it done.
I just worry Utah, with the performance they had against
Yeah, Tech.
I can't unsee that. That was just a really weird performance.
It was weird, and it was at home for them too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so, you think they'll go red and blue jerseys?
What's
They
that?
do you think they'll go red and blue jerseys?
Oh yeah, they got to.
They've
They got to
started.
do that every year.
They're the ones that started that. I love it.
They got to do that every year. Yeah, USC and UCLA did that. They started that when Pete Carroll was there, both wearing the home jerseys. Like, hey, LA is both of our cities, so we'll both wear our home jerseys. And the first
Yeah.
time they did it, they initially charged USC with the timeout for wearing the wrong jerseys, and then UCLA took a timeout as well.
Oh gosh.
Just to, yeah.
Camaraderie.
And then after that, they were like,
Sportsmanship.
okay, we're not gonna do this anymore. Yeah.
Sportsmanship. What way to go? Okay.
It's the right thing to do in that case when you both agree to wear the home jerseys.
Bama, 7.5-point home favorite. Tennessee, Bama.
Man, roll tide, man. They're just rolling right now.
Roll.
I like Tennessee. Josh Heupel's done an amazing job at that program, but too much in the trenches, too much speed for Alabama.
Disagree.
Okay, you go with the Volunteers.
I think I like the Volunteers to cover, maybe to win. We'll see. I don't know that I'd bet them to win, but definitely to cover. I think Heupel prepares against Alabama really well.
Yeah, he understands the importance of the game.
He understands the importance of the game, and he's done a pretty good job over the years having them ready to roll.
Yeah, he's a really good. He's turned out to be a really good football coach.
He's a really good football coach, and I think he keeps this game close and gives Tennessee a chance to win. All right, Ole Miss.
But real quick before we go on, Tennessee, the schedule sets up for them. After this game, they play at Kentucky, rivalry game.
Win.
The game against Oklahoma that they're hosting. New Mexico State.
Win.
At Florida, which who knows if Billy Napier is still going to be there. And then home against Vanderbilt. So,
yeah,
big game for Tennessee. Yeah, I think it's manageable for them.
Ole Miss versus Georgia. Georgia 7.5-point home favorite. I'm sticking with the Bulldogs. I think they're going to be too much physically for Ole Miss. And that game at Washington State or against Washington State, I just can't unthink about that. If they're not able to move the ball effectively against them, I don't see how they do it against Georgia.
Everything you said makes sense. With that being said, I'm going with Ole Miss to cover. I think they were looking ahead to Georgia last week. I think they'll be much more dialed in. And I want to see how Chambers can do against Georgia. I know they're going to have a spy on him, probably CJ Allen, who is a really good linebacker. I just want to see if they can force some breakdowns in the Georgia secondary on those kind of off-script plays and just get a few plays going down the field. I don't trust Georgia's offense fully either.
Oh, really?
I don't.
I don't think they're that
No,
bad.
no, no. I don't think they're bad either, but I just don't trust them. Like I don't think they're very consistent on that side of the ball. Their receivers still don't scare you,
Right.
right? Like they did a few years ago when they were winning the national championships back to back. So I think they're a little bit vulnerable. So they still could win the game, but I'm going with Ole Miss to cover.
The Texas Longhorns heading to the Bluegrass State, 12.5-point favorite. Look, man, I think Texas, I hate to do this. I think they capitalize on the momentum from the OU game. I think maybe they figured something out in their run game. I am going to take Texas to cover the 12.5.
Okay, I'm going to take them to cover as well, but I think it'll be a late cover. I think this will be a close game, and I think they'll pull away late. When I say close, maybe not a game where they're in fear of losing, but where that Kentucky kind of just one play away from making it a scary situation for Texas. So, but I do think they'll cover in the end.
I just there's a part of me that like I always root against Texas. But if Kentucky goes out and beats Texas, it is going to make me
Oh, you're gonna be sick.
so pissed off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just now, if Texas goes and rolls, I kind of think they will. But if Texas goes and rolls and wins 24-14, you're like, I guess that's only a 10-point, 28-14. I think you're like, okay, well, I guess Texas is okay. I guess they're okay.
Yeah.
But man, Kentucky like sneaks in and gets them 21-17. I'm gonna be just pounding my head against the wall. Like,
Yeah.
what did
I
we
think
do?
it's all on them, right? How locked in are they? We know they're a better team. They have better players, in my opinion, better coaches
This
than
center
Kentucky
thing's
does.
does the
Are
center
they going to be
look?
serious?
I got Texas covered. This is how nervous of you are about Cole Hudson, though.
Not particularly, because he hasn't been great. I mean, obviously he's the
Okay.
best option we have, but no,
All right.
it's not. It's not him. It's just the team's mindset is what I worry about.
Okay. Fair enough. Oklahoma, South Carolina, 5.5. Look, I said it early in the show. I am not happy as an Oklahoma fan right now. My level of annoyance with just about everything with the program is pretty high. There's a good chance that Toby Rowland releases the scene setter and I don't even listen to it. I'm just I'm mad. I'm mad and upset. And everything that comes out of the program right now bugs the crap out of me. That being said, they almost have to roll against South Carolina. If they don't, I am worried about the rest of the season. I don't think that's too much of a hyperbole. I really, really am. I just because of the necessity, I'm taking OU to cover the 5.5. But don't think
Yeah,
it's because I'm happy, Kevin. Don't think it's because I'm happy about it.
yeah, I understand. Now I'm going to go with you guys are covered too. Just with South Carolina's struggles so far this year, um, I just don't see them being able to move the football comfortably. And I know, a lot of people said the same thing about Texas, but at least we know the dudes that Texas has out there. We were just waiting on them to put it together. I don't know if I see that. Nicholas Harper is obviously a talented guy, but I just don't know if he's that guy as a receiver, as a consistent pass catcher for them. So they're putting a lot on the Norris Sellers. I think if you spy him, and obviously, you guys could be motivated. The problem is, though, the only concern is that they're going to be just as motivated because they're desperate too. There's a lot on the line for them, but I just think you have a better team overall. So I'm going to
Well,
take them.
that and you know, after what happened last year, South Carolina thinks they're going to win this game.
Yeah, they're going to be excited and they're desperate, right? Just kind of like Texas was last year. They were desperate. going
And
into that game.
we'll see.
Can you
Hopefully,
match that? Are you going to have that same level of desperation?
well, I think John Mateer's got something to prove. I think John Mateer, regardless of circumstance, even if the thumb was darn near unplayable, I still think he feels embarrassed.
Sure.
And the one thing about this kid that I think is fair to say is he's a competitor, and he's a proud competitor.
He
And I
would not have
don't
been out there otherwise.
He wouldn't have been out there otherwise. There's plenty of dudes that would have made a business decision, and he did not do that. He wanted to play in that football game. He's seen his Heisman stock take a hit. He's been ridiculed, questioning whether he should have even played. I think there's a lot of that around this team right now, and that's what I'm counting on to galvanize, especially the offense. Was the defense? I don't think the defense was embarrassed, but I don't think they like losing to Texas. And I think those third
Yeah, I
down
don't
numbers.
they like the fact that they got pushed a little bit, and especially in that third quarter. They're certainly not going to like that.
I don't think they like those third down numbers. I don't think they like those third down
Oh
numbers
my
one
goodness!
bit.
No, not the way you have been playing. 10 of 18, Arch with 8 of 10 on third down passing.
So will they be as motivated as South Carolina? I think so. And I also listen, dude. The coaches have to be. The coaches see the same schedule I'm seeing, and they know that they can't afford. This is not a margin of error game, Kevin. This is you have to win this game.
You have to win it. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Thunder, they open play this week or is it next week?
No, still preseason. They have a preseason game on Friday against Denver. That's their final preseason game, and then the regular season starts Tuesday. So they'll be home against the Rockets. NBA on NBC is back, John, and first time in 22 years. And yeah, correct. Ron Ball Ruckus by John Tesh is back as a thing, music and everything. And yeah, so they'll open up against the Houston Rockets. They'll be dropping the banner.
Will you be there?
Players will get their championship rings. And yes, I will. I will be fortunate enough to be there. I will. I will be. Yeah, very, very fortunate to be there.
Will you be cheering for Kevin Durant when he comes out?
Of course.
That's the weakest thing I've ever heard, Kevin.
Yeah. He's my guy.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I'm gonna be like jumping up and down cheering, but yeah, that's my guy, man. Come on.
Yeah, he's your guy. He's your guy.
Yeah, it's just like Baker Mayfield's your guy, and it's fine. That's great.
Kevin Durant is the worst, and I don't need to go over it again. However, we both know he wouldn't have won a championship if he wouldn't have signed up with the Golden State Warriors. I think we can agree on that, right? We can agree that there was no way he, as an NBA player, had the capability of leading a team on his own to an NBA championship. Strong agreement, right? Strong agreement, right?
No.
Thank you. Because other than his stint at Golden State and at Oklahoma City, he's largely been a bust in the NBA in terms of team success. You'd agree with that?
A bust?
A bust in terms of team success. He was terrible at the Nets. He was terrible at the Suns. Bust. He did not improve either of those two teams. I said as far as team success goes, he's a bust, right?
Oh, he improved. He improved the Nets. They just weren't good enough to win a title. Plus, James Harden getting hurt certainly didn't help.
Oh my God! You think that James Harden would have somehow been not hurt in the Nets if they would have done anything in the East?
Yes. Are you serious?
Oh my God.
The best team. They were the best team in the conference that year. Go back and do your research. I know you hate the guy, and I understand why. I get it. Yeah, but no. I promise you I'm right about this.
Where do you pick the Rockets to finish this year?
Well, third or fourth in the East, or in the West, excuse me. OKC and Denver, and then I think there's a gap after that. And I think Houston third or fourth with Minnesota.
So if I put the over under at 4.5, you would what would you take?
4.5, the over.
Like fourth or fourth or better.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. I would take the over there.
You'd say they finished fifth?
No. I think they finished third or fourth.
Okay, I'll take that bet. My bet is they finish. My bet is they finish below fifth or below. Would you take that bet?
I would.
All right, I already owe you a Coke and a candy bar. We don't have to go double or nothing. But you want to do the same bet at the end of the season?
Yeah, that's great.
Mark it down. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 45 seconds. Kevin Durant will reaffirm how much he sucks. I think we can agree that he will reaffirm how much he sucks.
No, we don't agree on that.
He's a
He's
terrible
a top
human
15 player in the history of the NBA.
and one of the worst team basketball players in the history of the league.
Okay.
Hey, I got a question for you before
Best
I
player
let
in
you
the
go.
history of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Russell Westbrook. That's correct. Maybe probably Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. What are
Oh,
you
he's
talking
coming. Yeah, he's a couple more years, and he's got that for sure. But
about?
as it stands right now,
Russell signed with Sacramento Kings. I don't know what that means. Seems
yeah,
kind of weird. He just must like playing ball. He just must
yes.
like it.
Hoopers love to hoop, man.
Yeah, he just. I don't think he's holding on for anything beyond just that he likes to play basketball. That's
Yeah.
just the vibe I get from him, right?
Mhm.
I don't think he's
Yeah.
chasing a ring.
I
I
don't
think
think
he
so.
like.
No, he would. Yeah, he'd
I,
love to win a ring, but
I think he would have loved to win one with Denver. I think that was his last best chasing
yeah,
option,
yeah.
But anyway, okay, I got a question though. My wife and family love to watch Special Forces. You ever watch Special Forces?
I've never watched it, but I am familiar with it.
Okay, so Special Forces is on Fox, and they take has-been celebrities and run them through, Special Forces training, and whatever. It's reality TV. I actually find it to be really, really good. It's pretty interesting the stuff they make them do.
Yeah.
It's legit the stuff they make them do. Um, so on this most recent season, you have like Johnny Manziel's on there, Randall Cobb is on there. The girls that are on there, there's Christy Rampone, who was a Hall of Fame soccer player. She's a little older. Um, there's a lot of people that I don't even know who they are. Okay, like I don't even. You remember the gymnast? I'm getting to a point here, but you remember the gymnast Shawn Johnson won a gold
Yeah,
medal?
absolutely.
I guess she married a football player. Last name
Okay, didn't realize
East.
that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. So anyway, that's the kind of person we're talking about, though. Like
Yeah.
they're
Cam,
famous-ish.
wasn't Cam Newton on there at one point?
Yeah, Cam Newton was on it last year. And he did pretty good. Johnny Manziel surprisingly is hanging in there right now. With all Johnny stuff that goes on there. But one of the people that's on there is Nick Young of the NBA.
He's an interesting guy, man.
He is so weird. Okay, like he is. They do not like him. He's got a smirk on his face all the time. Doesn't take
Always.
anything seriously. He talks about how good he was in the NBA and how he just needs to, just relive some of that, feelings in the NBA. I'm having a hard time remembering how good Nick Young was in the NBA. If I remember correctly, he was kind of a punchline pretty much all the time.
Well, that's because of his personality. Like you talked about that smirk and stuff that he always has on his face. He was that way as a player too. Throwing up crazy shots. He's a guy who had that shot. It's a meme now, where he shot a three, and as the three was in the air, he turned around and stuck his arms out, only for
missed it.
they missed it. Yeah, so that's Nick Young in a nutshell.
Was he any good? I mean, I guess he
He
made the
was
league.
fine, but no, he wasn't.
He wasn't any good.
NBA. I mean, he had a long NBA career, right? Which is always impressive because it's the toughest job in the world to get. But he was never a superstar or anything close. Never made
He's
an
kind of.
all-star team. or anything.
He has a high opinion of himself, that's for sure.
Yeah,
He has it's an interesting watch with him. He's a different breed of cat. But hey, check it out. Special Forces. I find it interesting, especially on days that don't have sports, right?
yeah.
So like Wednesday night is a great time to get with your
How
family
did
and
Cam
watch
do?
television. Cam actually did pretty good. Let me see if he finished the course.
Because that dude is just a little bit different than most,
Oh no,
even
no,
most athletes.
he was so weird.
That guy's different. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just talking about as an athlete. He's just different, man. They don't make many Cam Newtons.
So he made it all the way to the end. Okay.
Okay.
Now I remember this now. I had to go just refresh myself. He made it all the way to the end, and they have a water torture like deal,
Oh my
and
goodness.
it just
Yeah.
looks miserable. And if I remember, it's like after a whole night of torture, like sound torture and all this kind of
Oh
stuff.
man.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Okay.
awful. It's awful. And so he cracked under that and had to pull himself out.
Okay. Yeah.
But I didn't think they wanted him to finish. They did not like him. The trainers did not. They weren't big Cam Newton fans.
Yeah.
But he did okay. Listen, it's
and
hard.
Not looking to fall in line necessarily.
The problem I have, not with the show, but with the participants that go on the show, is they get on the show and then they act like they had no idea how hard it was going to be. And we're talking, we're 4 seasons in.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead and let's watch some reruns before you roll out.
Yeah, at least a little clip, YouTube clip, something.
Yeah, just some YouTube clips of people complaining about how hard it is. That's all you got to do. Like, know how hard it's going to be. And then they get there, they're like, oh, I just never knew it was going to be this hard. It's like, you stop it. Stop. God.
Reality TV, though. Nothing's more scripted.
No, but it's
fun. We watch it because it's fun.
There's some guilty pleasures out there, and that's one of them.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
I don't mind it. I don't watch Love Island or anything, Kevin. You know what my wife loves to watch is Korean reality TV and contests.
Okay.
Jeffrey,
I was going to say, did Jeffrey put her on this?
Yeah, put her. Spent 2 years in Korea.
Shout out to Jay Weezy, by the way.
And she loves it. The Korean people are. This isn't a. I don't think I'm like making a stereotype or anything. I think they would agree with this. Are a very vain culture.
Okay.
It prizes physical appearance and perfectionism. And so a lot of these shows have they're like physical contests. And they have 100 of some of the most beautiful and athletic people in Korea are like competing for some of this stuff. And the stuff they say and stuff they talk about is just crazy. And they'll talk about, look how perfect he is. Look how amazing he is. I think he's had a little work, but he did it really well, and it's really weird. I do not watch it.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I don't watch it. It bugs me. I can't stand it. But my wife loves it, dude.
Hey, whatever. It's entertainment, right?
It is entertainment. Last thing on the entertainment front, not Alex. What's his name? Oh, my mind's gone blank. Quarterback for the Steelers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you. Aaron Rodgers. That had an old person moment, like what's going to happen tonight between Aaron Rodgers and Flacco. Joe Flacco going up against each other.
That is an old matchup. Oh, my goodness.
That could have happened in 2008, and it would have been more interesting, I think, than a Thursday night.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 2008 would have been awesome.
Oh, it would have been fantastic.
From Baltimore and Green Bay. Yeah.
Joe Flacco is just one of those old school quarterbacks. He reminds you like the guy from Any Given Sunday, the Dennis Quaid character, where he's just going to hang around forever.
Yeah. He keeps getting jobs, man.
He might
be a great guy.
He might have Steamin' Willie Beeman on his back, but you just at the end of the day, you just go with the old white guy.
Reliable.
He's gonna get it done.
Yeah. Okay, so Joe Flacco is 40, and I believe Aaron Rodgers is 42. It's got to be the oldest quarterback matchup in the history of the NFL, right?
It's pretty old, man. It is.
He's
really
41. Aaron's 41. So yeah, 40 and 41 years old.
So Flacco got cut by the Browns, right?
He was traded, actually.
Oh, he was traded.
They traded him. Cincinnati traded for him.
Why would you trade? Why would
Joe
you
Burrow's
trade
out.
it? Why? I get why Cincinnati would trade, but why would the Browns trade?
They must not feel threatened by him at all. Nothing else makes sense.
I think that they might not feel threatened, but I think it's more likely that if you can count on the Browns to make a dumb decision, they will.
Of course. Yes. They've got a long history of that.
Might have been a dumb decision to trade in division.
Yeah. We'll know more when they play each other.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati, Joe Burrow's been out, got the turf toe injury. Who knows when he's going to be back? They had the Jake Browning kid, just wasn't going well. They want somebody who consistently get the ball to Jamar Chase, basically. And they feel like,
well, that's not a bad
Joe
decision.
Flacco gives them, no, not at all.
That's a good
Give
game
him
plan.
the ball as often as you can.
Yeah, that's a good game plan. Kevin, enjoy that game tonight. Enjoy a great slate of games this weekend. Have a great week. Boomer!
Hook 'em.